Why, hello and welcome everybody. It is Pohx again. So today we're going to go ahead and go into the new base types. I guess some of the base types that are going to be coming out in the Act 4 expansion. The Maraketh / Maraketh. I'm not really, I'll just shut up. I'll just say I have an accent. There you go. That's why I don't pronounce it correctly. So there you go. Let's go into them. So we've got 13 new weapon types. Now, of course, this will be linked in the description down below. If you guys want this actual thread, it's just literally from the Path of Exile website. If you look over here, it's literally right here, the weapons for the Read More section. So let's go ahead and talk about this. We've got the following. We're introducing 13 new weapon types. The Maraketh weapons. These exist in 3 different tiers at the end of Normal, Cruel, and Merciless. So there's a total of 39 different base types added. Today's new post includes linked versions of the first tier of the weapons. Okay, now before I read into it, I want to read the couple of facts about it. I actually haven't looked at any of this yet. Act 4 isn't set in the Maraketh lands, but the Maraketh people were involved in many historical battles that occurred there. Maraketh weapons have different implicit mods than most of the items in Path of Exile. The implicit mod is the same for the first 2 tiers and slightly larger for the third one. While Maraketh weapons are some of the rarest and most desirable weapons in the game, they don't deal substantially more damage than the highest current base types. However, their new implicit mods make them more appropriate for certain builds. All of the Maraketh weapons have new 3D art and look quite different from existing weapons in Path of Exile. At this stage, we do not plan to introduce unique versions. At this stage, we do not plan to introduce unique versions of the Maraketh weapons. Like the rest of the new content revealed so far, the names and properties of these items may change before or during the closed beta. So let's go ahead and talk about it. First off, we've got a blade staff. So I don't know too much about staves. The one things I do know as of right now is we've got 12% and we've got 18% block chance on them. So I can actually pull up all the stuff for you guys here. We can compare and contrast. So Path of Exile staves. Okay, here we go. Let's compare some stuff. Alright, so we've got crit chance. Critical strike chance 6.5. It's pretty much 6.5 the entire way through. As of right now, it goes up to 6.68. As you can see, the other implicit is the block chance, ranging from 12 to 18. So here we've got 60% global critical strike chance with a lowered 6% critical strike chance. Now, remember that some existing bases were nerfed as well. I think staves may have implicitly gotten put down to 6%. I don't know 100%. I don't really remember. So it's got 60% global critical strike chance, which is pretty cool because that's new. The block chance is swapped. Next up, we've got the curved blade, which has the multiplier, which was shown in the previous video. Which is anywhere, I think it rolls 35 to 50% crit multiplier and has a 6% critical strike chance. Next up, we've got a maul. The maul is really cool because it rolled 4% increased radius. No maces have radius on them at all. So this is something that's just a little niche, which is also pretty neat. We've also got a dagger axe, which is an axe with critical strike chance. Now, I want to show you guys. Let's go pull this up. Path of Exile axes. Just to show you. Alright, let's go to two-handed axes. Okay. So this axe is 40% increased critical strike chance, 7% crit chance on the top. So if we were to look at axes currently, the crit chance is 5. These are all two-handers. It's 5 pretty much all across. That we can see 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, 5. So increasing the base crit by 2% is pretty huge. That's pretty neat to see. Then we've got a bow with movement speed on it. Something a little interesting because there's no real cap to movement speed. I don't really know if there's diminishing returns on movement speed, but especially as a bow character or a range character, mobility is pretty key. Next up, we've got a sword with bleed on hit, which also has a 6% base crit, which is pretty neat. I don't see this being too necessary, but maybe it could. I don't really know 100%. I haven't really done any builds based off bleed yet, so I guess I'm a little bit biased. Next up, we've got a Horn Scepter with 1% elemental penetration. Now, you could assume that the higher base is going to be 2%, assuming it goes higher, which is pretty neat. 2% penetration versus 20% LE damage is pretty much what you're going to compare. I don't really know the math on that, but it seems like something new. That's also a 6% base crit. Pretty sure maces already have a naturally decent crit though. Now we've got a one-handed axe, which has still 5% base crit, although it's got 8% increased physical damage, which is pretty neat. I believe it's global. Next up, we have a hook sword with 3% increased global defenses, which could be pretty neat if you end up dual wielding. This is also, remember, these are level 30s, so you could expect to see higher versions. I believe. I could totally be wrong here. But if you dual wield, increased global defenses could be pretty neat, although it kind of is a double-edged sword because then you're not getting global defenses to a shield in a way, so you'll see what happens there. We've got a mace with increased attack speed on it, which is pretty neat. The mace is a 1.4 base, which is pretty cool. We've got a dagger with implicit block with 6.5% base crit, something kind of neat since people complained about block nerf. We've got block on a dagger right now, which is an interesting thing to put it on. Basically dropping offensive for block, but like on your weapon implicitly is pretty neat. Next up, we've got a wand with casting speed. Pretty neat for a lot of builds that don't necessarily want the spell damage. Casting speed's really sick for a lot of builds. And then we've got claws that no one really ever used before. Very, very few people use them. They wanted to make them seem a little bit more attractive. So 6 life and mana gain per hit. Per enemy hit, you gain 6 mana. So that's pretty huge. It's pretty substantial. Anyway, I just wanted to go through the weapons and, post them to you guys. You guys tell me what you think. You guys tell me if there's any cool builds you think this will enable, or you think we'll get crazy buffs by this. Remember, I usually am playing casters, so not too much of this really goes to me. But it's always nice to see these new base items and everything coming out. It's super cool to see how, things are going to be changing and evolving and getting upgraded and morphed around just from, things like this. Furthermore, assuming I get into the beta and Path of Exile on 20th or, the 30th, whenever I end up getting in, assuming I get in, I'd like to start a video series called, like starting in PoE, and it will go, kind of like a beginner's guide to PoE, and it will include jewels and whatnot. I don't really know 100% how to go about it because it's going to be more than one video. It's going to be like 5, maybe 10 videos combined. And I want some thoughts that you guys can give me. Now, this is for new players. I'm not a new player. A lot of this stuff is common sense to me, so I need to know what you guys want to know. So, for example, some topics, but are not, furthermore, some topics, however, are not limited to, building a character on the skill tree, what items to pick up, when/how should I start mapping/how should I roll my maps, vendor recipes, what to pick up, I guess how to efficiently level up, things like that. But I want you guys to tell me what you want in chronological order from a starting point. What is the most important thing to you, and jot down like 10 things, jot down like 10 things, take 2 minutes out of your day for you guys and write them like bullet points. So say I have 10 videos, make like 3 points, so like a solid 3 things I could explain in one video or so. And yeah, so that's like 30 ideas, I guess. So you just bullet point 10 and you're just like, Pohx, I think that in this first video it's important that you go over, how to create a character on a tree, and you talk about this point, and then boom. And maybe the point is, if it's a big point, then maybe the whole video is devoted for that. If it's not so big of a point, then maybe two or 3 can go towards it. But anyway, as always, if you guys enjoy the video, feel free to like, share, and subscribe. And I will catch you guys later. Hopefully streaming the beta, assuming I get in, it would be pretty awesome to go, go chill out and explore it with you guys. But remember, you can always catch me at twitch.tv/Pohx. And I hope you guys enjoyed the video. So take care. Have a wonderful day, everyone. And I hope to see you guys all tomorrow.